everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Mindy here. I hope you're all doing incredibly well. Today I'm going to talk about classy fragrances in my collection. These are all fragrances that I think would work amazingly well in a variety of settings. So for example, meeting your significant other's parents for the first time. I think each and every one of these would be beautiful. Going to an upscale holiday party, I think every one of these would work. Also going to an elegant date night with your significant other. These would be stunning fragrances to choose from. And I consider each and every one of these to be office friendly. While this isn't a top 10 for life video, it easily could be. I want each of these in my collection long term. While this isn't a perfume starter kit video, I think it easily could be. Each one of these would be incredible to have in the collection of somebody who is just starting off on the fragrance journey. These are amazing perfumes, all that will make you feel elegant, classy, sophisticated. If that interests you, please stay tuned and I will jump right in. I'm going to start this video off with a cheapie, but don't let that fool you. While this is an affordable fragrance, it is also a beautiful fragrance that works in a variety of different settings. This is an accessible fragrance. It is affordable. It is from Target. This is Vanilla Bourbon by Mix Bar. I love how this is just an easy wear type of fragrance. I love to have this fragrance in my arsenal when I want to have a lighter perfume day. This one is soft, yet it's elegant, it's sophisticated. It has Madagascar vanilla, oak, jasmine, black pepper, apple blossom. The oak in here I feel gives it a little bit of that boozy quality, hence the name Vanilla Bourbon, but I don't feel like it's done in a heavy way or an overly done way where the booziness feels too heavy. I do like to layer this one as well. While I don't generally layer my fragrances, I like my fragrances to be what I expect them to be. This is a soft, gentle fragrance, and it really pairs beautifully with other fragrances like Coco Mademoiselle Intense, for example. Whereas that one can be intense, as the name suggests, this one cuts that a little bit and gives it a little bit of softness and sweetness. I do think this is a gorgeous fragrance, one I highly recommend for people who want an affordable, beautiful fragrance. This is Vanilla Bourbon by Mix Bar. Next up is a fragrance I feel like I should stop talking about at times, but I just can't. This fits into this classification so beautifully. It is an elegant perfume through and through. This is Coco Mademoiselle, the EDP by Chanel. Of course, I love the EDP, but I also really adore the Intense version, as I've spoken about that one quite a bit on my channel as well. I kept the EDP on this list because I do feel that a lot of people find this to be the more crowd-pleasing or more wearable version of the Coco Mademoiselle line. This is an amazing option when you want to feel on point, you want to feel polished, you want to feel sophisticated. I find this to be a citrusy, woody scent. It has mimosa in it. It feels like it's a sparkling, bright fragrance. I love the Intense equally, maybe a little bit more, but depending on what I'm craving, I will reach for the EDP, this one, or the Intense when I want to feel uplifted, I want to feel polished, I want to feel empowered. This is a gorgeous business fragrance. This is a gorgeous date night fragrance. This is a gorgeous meet the parents fragrance. It really is versatile and fits all settings. A gorgeous, gorgeous perfume. This is Coco Mademoiselle, the EDP by Chanel. Next up is a fragrance that definitely belongs in a classy fragrance list. This is Mon Guerlain, the Intense by the Guerlain line. Now, this is a beautifully done composition. There's lavender in here. There's multiple vanillas, Tahitian and Madagascar. This has benzoin, iris, sandalwood, and musk. I never really thought that lavender would be my type of note, but it works incredibly in this formulation. This is rich, it's dense, it's stunning. This is just a gorgeous perfume for those sophisticated, elegant settings. This is a feminine take on lavender. It has a woody quality that I love. This fragrance makes me feel comforted, although it is very classy as well. A beautiful scent, Mon Guerlain Intense by the Guerlain line. The next fragrance that I have on this list is probably the most debatable to have on a classy fragrance list, so hear me out on this. This fragrance is gorgeous. It is Angel Muse. This is the EDT. I find this to be addictive. It is intoxicating. It's just the most gorgeous gourmand. It's got hazelnut in it. It's chocolatey to a degree. I've decided this past weekend that I do prefer the EDT fragrance over the EDP. I just find the richness and depth and spiciness to the EDP is amazing. It is gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it can be a little bit too dense at times when you want something a little bit lighter, a little bit softer. So for this list, I chose the EDT, which I do find to be the most versatile of the two. Even though this has that gourmand-like spicy, chocolatey composition, I do find it to be a very comforting scent. I also find it completely appropriate for somebody who wants to feel confident and sophistication throughout their day. This is one of my very favorite gourmands on this list. It is definitely a lifer scent for me, even though I've heard it has been discontinued. I find it to be versatile, even in an elegant setting. This is Angel Muse EDT by Mugler. Next up is a fragrance that I bought almost immediately upon smelling it. I thought it was a lovely, gorgeous fragrance. This is Eau Duelle by Diptique. This is a beautifully done, elegant vanilla. It does have bourbon vanilla in it, which is one of my very favorite fragrance notes. But the vanilla in here is very balanced with a freshness from the bergamot. There's black tea and juniper in this one. The aromatic freshness that you get in Eau Duelle also has this delicious, cozy spiciness. There is cardamom and pink pepper in here that also makes it a cozy, comforting scent. This is an addictive, beautifully done vanilla fragrance, one that I suggest for people who do like Angelique Noir. It's in that vein, it's not the same. A lovely vanilla. This is Eau Duelle by Diptique, and I have the EDT. Next up is my very most worn fragrance in the month of October. This is Soir by BDK. This is unusual to me, but it's unique. I am completely and utterly head over heels with this perfume. Now I have to be honest, Soir was not a love at first sniff. The addiction for me grew over time. This is classified as a floral fragrance, but to me it has a very noticeable fruity presence to it. There's quince in this fragrance, which is an aromatic fruity note. It's a little bit sour and dry. There is also mandarin orange in this one. It also has ginger in here, which gives it another layer of dimension in the fragrance profile. Soir is done in a way that's really warm and comforting. A lot of times I find fragrances that have a fruitiness to them being a little bit more fresh, a little bit more bright. This one really is warm and cozy with the florals and the woodiness that's in here. It's the warmest, spiciest, fruity fragrance that I have in my collection. This is one that I do recommend trying before you buy it. It has some qualities that I don't think everyone is gonna like, but for me, I find this sophisticated, elegant, a gorgeous fragrance I love to wear. Soir by BDK. Next up is a fragrance from the Chance line by Chanel. I think all of the fragrances on the Chance line are beautiful. I think they're great fragrances to check out if you want something sophisticated and classy. What sets this one apart, Chanel Chance Eau Fraiche, is that citrusy, woody vibe that you get here. In addition to the lemon, cedar, musk, and amber that's in here, similar to other freshy type fragrances, I do find this one to be more well-rounded, more balanced, because it has notes like iris and teakwood in it. The scent profile in here does not go overly citrus to my nose, which I really enjoy. I just think it's a lovely composition. This is Chanel Chance, and this is the Eau Fraiche. Next up is one of the most immaculately done vanilla fragrances that I have in my collection. This is boozy, it's elegant, it's one of the more gorgeous vanilla fragrances that I've smelled. This is Spiritueuse Dublaveny by Guerlain. Now, while this doesn't have any listed liquor notes in it, it is one of the more boozy fragrances that I have in my collection. In the top, you have pink pepper, bergamot, and incense. In the mid, you have ylang ylang, cedar, rose, and jasmine. In the base, you have vanilla and benzoin. This one feels grown up to me, but not in a dated way. It just has a sophisticated elegance that I really, really love. I have to say, I wore this on Sunday when I was lounging around in leggings and a sweatshirt, but I absolutely loved it. I don't exactly feel that the fragrance fit the vibe that I had going on, but I just love to wear this fragrance. It does smell very beautiful. Again, this one is Spiritueuse Dublaveny by Guerlain. Next up is a rich, dense, almost opulent type fragrance that I am so grateful to have in my collection. This is Bois Dore by Van Cleef and Arpels. This one I've described before as having a narcotic quality to me. It is truly one of the most intoxicating fragrances that I have in my collection. This is a perfectly unisex fragrance in my opinion, but I have to say I do think some women may prefer smelling this on a man instead of themselves. I did feel that way at the beginning, but I just love the scent so much that I find myself reaching for this frequently. I love to smell it on my skin throughout the day. This one is incredibly smooth. It has vanilla in it, it's woody, it's slightly spicy. The almond that's in here gives it a little bit of creaminess. The tobacco just gives it added dimension. The note that I find the most intriguing in here is the mineral notes. So when I saw mineral notes, I thought, does that smell like iron? Does it smell synthetic? Does it smell rusty? Does it smell like eggs? I don't know. We have a hot sulfur springs not too far from my house, and it has this horrible rotten egg smell to it. So I really didn't know what mineral notes smell like. I still don't know. It makes me think of Goldschlager with those metal flakes in it. It smells nothing like any of those things that I mentioned. It's an added note in here that smells incredible in this composition. Bois Dore is a phenomenal fragrance, one I definitely recommend getting your nose on, especially if you like Herod by Parfums de Marly. You might really like this one. This is Bois Dore by Van Cleef and Arpels. Last up is a brand new fragrance to my collection. This is arguably one of the most talked about fragrances in the perfume community. This is Baccarat Rouge 540 by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is the EDP. Now, the reason I've debated bringing this into my collection for so long is because I've had samples of it that I've gone through by now that also prompted it, but also because I have Amber Oud Rouge in my collection, and I do find this to be a perfectly suitable alternative to Baccarat Rouge 540. However, as a fragrance enthusiast, I really hit a point where I couldn't really deny the relevance that Baccarat Rouge 540 has in the perfume community. I really felt like I hit a point where I just had to have it in my collection. I knew that was probably going to happen, and it did. This fragrance is unique, it's stunning, it's inoffensive. I find it to be a woody, warm, burnt sugar-like fragrance. This is slightly reminiscent to me of a red fruit punch that I would have as a child. It does bring back that memory from time to time. I personally find this to be unisex, but I did notice on the Fragrantica Reader's Choice Awards that it did rank in both women's and men's categories in 2020. Kind of a funny side note, so I went to a water park recently. It was an indoor water park. It had kind of that musty indoor water park odor. It smelled kind of weird, and from time to time you would see kids with Band-Aids. I saw a couple Band-Aids on the ground, although they really worked to keep this place pretty clean. I can assume that happened when kids would scrape their knees on the wave pool floor or they fell down. I don't know. But it had a little bit of that medicinal scent profile that I get here. I don't find it to be overly strong here. It doesn't bother me to the point that I wouldn't wear the fragrance, but I do pick up on that medicinal, almost dental office odor that other people have said they smell with this one. I do love this scent. I think it's an amazing option for somebody looking for a sophisticated, versatile type fragrance that they can really wear anytime, any place. Again, this is Baccarat Rouge 540 by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Alright guys, as always, I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video on classy, sophisticated fragrances that I have in my collection, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, let me know what classy fragrances you have. I expect this list will continue to evolve and change over time, so I want to continue to bring other classy fragrances into my collection. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. I hope you have a lot to be grateful and thankful for. And until next time, I'll see you soon.